So good morning and good afternoon and good evening. We have people from North America, South America, the United Kingdom, and all the way over in Jerusalem as well, joining our call today. It's a wonderful privilege to be with you all. We have a special guest speaker. I'm going to have an interview, a conversational chat with Dave Johnson. I refer to him sometimes as the grandfather of Nikan because everyone is in his downline in Nikan, which is just tremendous. And I hope he doesn't mind that I say it with wonderful compliment because he is just inspirational in what he's been able to accomplish over these years with Nikan. I think as we look at his track record over these last multiple decades of service in Nikan, it puts him with his income as the number one income earner in Nikan, probably in, I would say, the top 10, maybe top 20 income earners in our industry. And what I love is that he's done it all exclusively with Nikan. That makes it all the more unique and all the more precious, I think. So I've asked Dave to join us today because we had a great September. Recruitment was up wonderfully over August, and recruitment was up in August, which is even better. So we had a great month in August, recruitment-wise, in North America, and we did even better in September. So a big congratulations to each of you that have really helped to make that the case. I've asked Dave to join us because I think something that he was doing as our leader in the field was something that really contributed. So Dave, you've just concluded last night, and Charlie, if I know that you're on the line, hopefully you'll be free to unmute in a little bit, maybe just to share some thoughts and feelings too, if you get the chance. But Dave, you just concluded last night an incentive that you put on by yourself. You and Valerie both did it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you did there and why you felt that was a good thing to do?
Well, one of my favorite thoughts as far as this business is there's 5 critical skills, activities that you want to do. And that's basically the universal thing. If you do these 5 things, everything will unfold in a wonderful way. And the first one is recruit, and then recruit, and recruit. And it's really important not to get those out of order. So, but seriously, it really is the answer to everything. If you think, well, wow, I can't get my group to do something, well, just go out and recruit a couple of people. That's the most wonderful thing to do. If you want to make more income, if you want to build a bigger business, I'm kind of discouraged a little bit. It's amazing when you sponsor a new person, everything changes, a whole new world of opportunity. And I think about of all the businesses that they are, all of them have some type of a product or a service. And of all the things I've ever looked at over the years, I've never seen anything that has the power that these products have to affect someone's life in such wonderful ways. And yet, if we don't recruit people, if we don't build a business, all of that product will just sit on the shelf doing no one any good. And so Nikan, everything is in place. I just am so thrilled about what we have going for us. The only thing left is actually just so critical, and that's building the team. But that's the thing that they've left is actually the most fun. Going out and making friends with people, sharing a story that can change their whole life. And I just feel so good. But anyway, we were just kind of thinking, what could we do to make this more fun? And if you think about things that are fun, if it's fun, you can do more of it. And that was kind of what we thought about. And so we were just thinking, how can we kind of recognize this a little bit? And also, if you look at work, most people experience go to work, get paid, go to work, get paid, which is just kind of a linear thing that goes along. And one of the intriguing things about doing Nikan is this idea of exponential income, where if you recruit one person, you just doubled your organization. And if you recruit another person and then start teaching them to do that, there's a compounding. And so we kind of thought we'd do the same thing with our little sweepstakes, our little promotion, that if you recruit one person, we have the sweepstakes and you get your name in a hat. But if you recruit 2 people, it goes up exponentially. You get 3 tickets and so forth. And so Leo LeMay, Charlie LeMay, he recruited 5 people last month, a couple of people the month before. And in a note, he was talking about just his excitement to build Montreal. And you know, the thing that's really fun about this business is wherever you are, if you have that thought in your mind that I'm going to go build an empire, things start coming together. And also that vision, if you get a few other people to buy in on that, things start happening. And so Leo did it. And just the law of averages, that was kind of fun. In fact, I was doing a couple of practice runs, just kind of reaching in there and doing that. And I'm really glad on this one that Leo came out the first. And it just kind of fits in with the law of averages. If you do something again and again and again, you get better at it. And the magic of the numbers. Because, you know, products are great, everything's wonderful, but it all still comes down to the mathematics of it, just doing lots of it and making that a daily activity. But anyway, we've had a lot of fun seeing the tickets on Facebook, people just getting excited about it. And just a thought, if Leo can sponsor 5 people in a month, what would happen if all of us just, what if the Nikan organization, what if we all just sponsored 1 person between now and the end of the year? Now, we could do a lot more than that, but what if that was just average? You know, Nikan as an organization would double between now and the end of the year. It's just a kind of a fun thing. So I love recruiting I love focusing on recruiting, because that just is exciting.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dave. I think I love what he said. The critical point here for each of us is to really focus on the thing that matters most. We've all heard it said, don't let the things that matter least be at the mercy of the things that matter most. It's so easy to do that, isn't it? And reprioritize our time, or prioritize our time with the things that might be pressing, but not necessarily important. A phone call sometimes demands an urgent response, but urgent doesn't always equal important. And the challenge that each of us faces is to learn how to differentiate between the two. I'm going to ask a few other people that are on the line here just to open up their lines and share some thoughts on that. So I'm going to pull up, and Dave, just on that point, I'm going to come back to you in just a few minutes as well, if that's all right. So I'm going to go to Bernadette first, if that's all right, Bernadette. Prioritizing. The challenge between urgent and important, especially in the context of recruiting and business building activities. What are your thoughts here on how we can sometimes get our attention placed in the wrong place? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, what myself I see in terms of prioritizing daily, weekly, and so on is what is the activity that build a business? It's always that, you know, and as Dave, you know, says it really well, it's about recruiting in that order. So, you know, what I say, what I teach and what I do myself, it's first to do my personal phone calls, my personal contact. That's my number 1 priority, because I have to build my own team and lead by example. To me, that's very important. Second is to do the follow-up of my own prospect, because if I don't do the follow-up, might as well I don't do the prospecting at all, you know, because without follow-up, there's nothing. And then what I say to the team, and once you've done that, then help your team do the follow-up with their prospect, because a lot of time they are unsure about how to do it, or they don't do it maybe in the right timeline. Yeah. And then connecting with the team. So in terms of contacting, that to me is the order, you know, personal prospecting, personal follow-up with the team, and then connecting with the team to see how we can help. And doing that on an ongoing basis. But again, it's every time, you know, I remember sometimes ago, I had somebody said, I'm too busy, I don't know, I'm doing all of this. And I said, well, why don't you do that little exercise just with 1 week, write down all the activities you do every day, and find out really, and I guarantee you'll realize that before the end of the week, whether or not what you're doing is productive.
Exactly. I really like that. And I think, again, what's so important is when people say, I don't have time, what they're saying is other things are more important, aren't they? I had an experience, I think I think I'm being prospected right now by someone that I know. They wanted to get my advice on a business opportunity that they've come across. So I've heard that line before. I think many of you have heard that line before. And they wanted to arrange a time where they could come and talk to me about it. I responded. They were ambiguous, but they needed to rearrange the appointment. But what was interesting was they didn't rearrange the appointment. The follow-up fell through. Days have passed, and I've gone from being someone that would be a willing helper to look after them, kind of maybe give them some advice or what have you, to, this is, that follow-up has just changed the whole energy of that conversation. Of course, I'm not interested in moving anywhere. Don't misinterpret that. But what I experienced for a brief moment was having the shoe on the other foot, and what it feels like, what it looks like. I had someone else that I know from the church that I go to. They know I'm involved in network marketing, and they reached out to me and invited me to speak with them. They were like, "Our business is going to take off. Come have a look. It'll be great, and you would do good." And I said, "Oh, thank you, but no thanks. I'm comfortable where I am." And they didn't respond to the message. That's interesting, that, isn't it? I want to emphasize, Dave stressed 5 critical rules, and I love it. He shared that over and over with us. Recruit, 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 recruit. Don't get it out of order. What we need to focus on, if we want more energy in our business, recruitment is often the answer. If we want the vibe to be more electric, the energy to be more buoyant, the attitude to be better, get more new blood in the business. If you want to get problems solved, ironically, it's remarkable what getting new people in your business can do to resolving some of the concerns that others might feel in the business. Getting life and new energy coming in through new recruitment really does provide a lot of solutions to a lot of problems. But in order for that to work well, follow-up needs to happen as well. And I'm really pleased, Bernadette, thank you for raising that point. It's not just that the follow-up happens, but that it also happens in a timely manner. Because if it happens too late, what we tell people is we don't care. What is often the case is I'm too scared. Wouldn't you agree? A lot of people don't follow up in a timely manner because they're nervous. They don't know what's going to happen when they open their mouth and say, "What did you think of that video I sent you?" Or "What did you think of that product that I shared with you? Would you be willing to come to the meeting, yes or no?" We don't always know what's going to happen in that point. And so a lot of people bury their head in the sand and give the wrong message. So follow-up is important, but it is also very, very important that it's done in a timely manner. I want to turn over to Mike DiMuccio, if that's all right. Mike, if you want to unmute your line for just a second. Dave Johnson kind of launched North America, and Mike, you launched Canada and Latin America. You've done huge things there. From your perspective, what role does recruitment play in building our business, do you think? And Mike, I mean, everyone knows, again, Mike, another top income earner, not just in NICAN, in our industry. And I don't say this to brag on his behalf. Well, I am bragging on his behalf, I guess. but making $20 million with something means you know something about it, yeah? You don't get that by chance, in the same way that Dave didn't get it by chance and making his ridiculous amounts more. But what, when, your context on recruitment,
I had this, thanks, Ben. It's funny, I had a one-on-one myself yesterday with a personal prospect, and the same question came up. And so what I did was I drew it out for her in terms of the model of McDonald's, the franchise, the retail sales, and then the real estate business. And I said, the person selling the French fries, they probably do pretty good. They make a wage, and they trade time for money. I said, the person who owns that franchise, they probably do pretty good too. They probably make a middle management type salary running and a business like that, but they're not going to make $20 million doing that. I said, so the conversation needs to shift over here to how it is that Ray Kroc died with a net worth of $500 million. That's a different conversation. That's a different understanding of the business. And so in NECAN, no different. There's your approach to this as a business. Are you approaching it strictly on the retail merits, which will earn you a decent income, but it is trading time for money? Or are you looking at it as a franchise model where you're going to recruit some people and teach them how to retail, et cetera? Again, that's going to earn you a pretty good income, probably more of about a middle management type income. But if you're looking for the big prize, then the conversation has to be bigger than the conversation about the product or the business opportunity. It has to be about the movement that we can create, the thing that inspires nations, the thing that inspires people to go beyond the call of income. It's got to be bigger than about money. It's got to be purpose driven. And so that's the conversation about the 5 pillars of health. That's learning how to present NECAN and all of its moving parts in the right context so that you understand the franchise and the products are the mechanism for the fulfillment of the bigger prize, and that is the achievement of balance in the 5 pillars of health, and more importantly, to spread that message, the message of that philosophy, that ideology. And so that really becomes about being a crusader of the philosophy of the message. So it's not just recruiting, it's what are you recruiting to? Are you recruiting to retail? Are you recruiting to franchise? Or are you recruiting to this cause of making a huge impact? And you'll find that all the top income earners in NECAN, bar none, every one of them are cause driven. The mechanism is important. The products are critical. We don't not talk about them. We just talk about them in the right context. And so you'll find that the people who have reached the top of the NECAN compensation plan are people who truly inspire to motivate and inspire people to new heights within personal development. I wrote this down the day before yesterday on a call. I wrote this and then I posted it yesterday because I thought it was so pertinent. NECAN is a protocol for self-actualization in each of the 5 pillars. So that's a little bit different than NECAN is a great product line or NECAN is a great way to help people with their health. It's a protocol for self-actualization in each area of the 5 pillars, not just one. So that conversation, communicating that message, is where the money goes from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. It's really about the value of that. So recruiting is something that I've always done. I've never, ever, and I don't say this to throw anybody off their track, but Mike DiMuccio has never left the house to retail product, ever. Nor will I ever. It simply doesn't inspire me. What inspires me is to be an agent of change. What inspires me is to move mountains. What inspires me is to raise an army of people who take pride in the fact that they're not simply complacent sitting on the sidelines watching life and their family's life pass by. They want to be engaged. They want to be involved in something bigger than themselves and more than just about making money. And if we do our job well, we'll make oodles of money. That'll never be an issue. So that's what I leave home for. So when I sit down with somebody, because I've chosen this is somebody I want to sit down with and have a conversation about NECAN with, I'm going to start where they're at. But I'm going to see if they will move over to where I'm at, because that's where the marriage comes. That's where I know how to really rock and roll. For instance, I have this example happening right now in Montreal. A gal that Leo LeMay introduced to NECAN her name is Anita. She's super excited, and every piece of information she's received that brings it to the higher level is inspiring her to no ends. So I'm booked to fly there on the 17th of this month to launch her business, because this is a person who is meeting me at that storyline and is extremely excited about making that kind of an impact. So, and yes, the benefits of that are certainly inspiring, residual income and so forth, which she doesn't have. But what's getting her to make the calls, what's getting her to watch the videos that I've sent her, is this passion she has for making a difference. So I found a kindred soul in that mission. Boom, I'm all over it.
Let me summarize quickly. There's some powerful messages here that have come across. I'm going to do a quick summary. Now I'm going to ask each of our three guest speakers here, Dave, Bernadette, and Mike, to share what they feel has been the greatest reward for them, coming back to them in Nikan. So I'm giving you just a moment to think about that. What's been the greatest reward? But what we've learned here is, in order to build a meaningful business, first of all, the priority needs to be recruitment. It's got to be a driving force. It resolves a lot of concerns. It creates new energy. It builds the team significantly, and it helps us to achieve everything that we're set out to do as business builders and cause creators. So first off, recruitment really is the foundation of our business. As Bernadette emphasized, we've got to give this an important priority, a space in our calendar that gives it real priority. That includes not just that we talk about it, but that we lead by example with it, that we do the follow-up. I think that's really, really important as well, and that we do that follow-up in a timely manner. Mike said that when we do this, when we make this the priority, when we do the follow-up, when we have the language, that the message that we give is not just about retailing product, though our products are wonderful. It's much greater than that. If we want to be at the front of a movement, if we want to be cause-driven and think outside of ourselves, that the message is far more than selling product, flipping burgers, or owning a franchise, so to speak. It's the much bigger picture. We need to see the real vision of what we can accomplish, and that moves the message and the reward from hundreds of dollars to thousands into the millions. And we've got people on the line here that are living examples of this. So let's go full circle again, round up. And Dave, back to you. Having taught this and experienced this over the last many decades that you've been here with Nikan, what would you say are some of the biggest rewards that have come back to you as a consequence of being involved in Nikan?
Oh, golly, the money's been fun. It's opened up all kinds of possibilities, but I think, like all of us really know, we're in this game because we want to make a difference. Every organization that really is true birds of a feather flock together, and we're all idealistic. We want to change the world. We realize that if everyone were using Nikan products, it would be a different world. And so that's a fun thing. And in fact, a lot of times I'll kind of joke with people and say, well, I really don't want to do much with this business. I just want to change the whole world. And Nikan is a company that has that power. Some of the thoughts on me is just day to day. Literally, you do create your own world. Your reality, what you surround yourself, you've created, and that's reinforced by just the daily phone calls, emails, letters, just saying thank you, realizing that what you've done makes a difference. And I think all of us are searching for significance and something that matters. And there's nothing richer than being together with good people, united in a great cause. I've heard that John Maxwell, he talks about leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. But I really like what Larry Prophet expands leadership to. He says that leadership is the enthusiastic communication of your vision. That is really what Nikan is all about. And we can talk about, well, do you lead with the product or do you lead with the opportunity? And someone wisely said, well, you lead with common sense. What do they want? But one of my favorite thoughts, and I think Mike DiMuccio said, lead with vision. Here's a company with just a grand vision. And when we get caught up in that and really truly believe in the rightness and the goodness of our cause, and then get a bunch of other people going, we start to garner one of the most wonderful things that there is, momentum. Momentum is a leader's best friend. And I just got a comment also, we could say recruit, but equally we could say follow up, because most people, that first exposure, that first contact, we're not going to catch them at that moment where they think, oh my goodness, thank goodness you're here. I just got off my knees. I've been praying for this. honey, go get the checkbook. We're going to get into this big. In fact, I've already got my list of names. I'm ready to go. Usually that's a thing that progresses. And so I think we've heard this number that in sales, and that certainly includes NECAN, is it takes 4 or 5 times of individual contacting before they actually make the right decision. And so, and I love what you said, Ben, about your friend contacting you and then dropping the ball. And so just think about that in your mind. If you contact somebody and you don't get back with them, what your message is you really don't care about this either. Whatever you said or whatever actions speak louder, or in this case, inaction. And this is all about action, everyday action. And so people can do this. All of this stuff about NECAN you can learn, and just getting inside your own head and your heart that this is right, and then making that decision and just create a burning desire and get plugged in with the rest of us. It's inevitable. The products work, the marketplace, it's really good right now. Never been better. This is a time where you can really do something big with your life, and NECAN is a wonderful vehicle to take with us. So come with us.
Yeah, excellent thoughts, Dave. The chance to shape your own destiny and to be in charge of that. Great counsel there. So Bernadette, thoughts from you? What have been some of the great rewards that you've been able to come
my gosh, I mean, it's how much time do we have? The great rewards have been obviously, fulfilling my own aspiration, is the fact that I'm able to do that, being able to be a stay-at-home mom, for all those years, and not to have to go back to that rat race on the corporate life. All of this is really being in charge of my own life. But what really gives me the thrill is to be able to bring people with me. It's not about me anymore. I really believe that we have the opportunity to give a universal solution to universal aspiration. People want to create themselves, and we have a phenomenal tool with NECAN. So, it's seeing people blossom in front of you, seeing people being able to realize that they have the power to really make things happen instead of being, independent of circumstances.
Yeah.
That is just phenomenal. The empowerment is absolutely phenomenal, and we can give that to anybody, whatever age, wherever they are. We all the same. We all look for the same thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that sense of empowerment, seeing other people change, great response. Mike, what about yourself?
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what I'm hearing and say it in my own way. The personal freedom that is a day-to-day thing. To actually have the ability to create a day in my life every day as I choose. That personal freedom, when I see so many people don't have that, especially if you ever get out on the highways during traffic, you realize this is what people do every day. That would just drive me nuts. So that's one aspect. And then to have been given a platform for influence, I've only, I guess, really come to the conclusion that that's probably the biggest prize for me, is to have a platform to be able to influence people in a way that's tangible. There's a lot of people out there delivering messages with even larger platforms, but they're delivering messages that don't necessarily have a practical or tangible application. Whereas with NECAN, we have the immediate benefit of seeing whether or not what we're doing with people is making a difference. They can get a result in their life, whether it's a physical one, or if it's something that helps them progress in terms of their skills as an entrepreneur and their ability to influence others. So we've got a mechanism in place to get the immediate feedback as to whether or not what we're doing actually matters. I like that.
Yeah, Mike, I love that too. And I would just like to echo the words that I've heard from my friends on the call today. The things that matter most are the people in our lives. And I, like each of them, have had recent conversations, both today and yesterday, with potential business partners, medical practitioners, and natural practitioners, looking for ways to leverage their time and what they do to make a bigger difference. And they want to get in front of bigger groups of people to be able to share what they know to be is most important, to help people experience a better way of living. And it's just remarkable when you're on the phone or you're doing webinars or you're chatting to people on Zoom, face-to-face, or whether it's in person, how often like attracts like. And we hear this over and over and over again, people coming to us for the same reasons, looking to make a difference, looking to make a contribution. And it's interesting, whether you've made a little bit or a lot, we have the chance here to make a real difference in the world. But wouldn't it be great to make a big difference and really do that with gusto? Ladies and gentlemen, if you want that to be your opportunity, if you want to be in charge of your schedule, if you want to craft the days, weeks, months, and years so that they shape you into what you want to become, and so that they empower you to be able to shape others into what they want to become, it really does actually start in a network marketing business like ours with recruiting. And of course, it starts alongside of that with very, very timely follow-up. And we want to make sure that the message there is driven by the cause, that we can all make a difference, that we can all contribute as a team to make this world genuinely a better place. What a great thing, and what a great way to get rewarded along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our call. I hope it's been of help. I hope it's been a friendly reminder that as we start out this month now, the beginning of October, that we hit this floor running. We go out there and we do all that we can to make it great with our recruitment efforts. I look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks in San Antonio, where we get to celebrate together and as always, share out those sneaking hugs. Thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.